Hey guys, welcome to the show, and it is tax time. I'm actually running really late for this one, and I'm going to be filing my personal income tax with you guys here today because I want to show you how easy it is to do it yourself online. But no, I am not a tax professional. Use a tax accountant professional where you can. I don't recommend doing it yourself. I mean, I'm doing it myself, but I don't recommend someone who doesn't know much about it to do it themselves. Anyway, you can watch me along the journey of completing my taxes myself in case it kind of stimulates your mind, gives you a bit of options on what you can do. Now, I did say use an accountant where you can, but that being said, don't just rely on the accountant. I use an accountant and they also make mistakes, and it is your responsibilities. I've spotted mistakes, 5-figure mistakes, over 50K worth of mistakes. That is, they wanted me to charge the government 50K worth so I'd get a big tax break. That would have been on me, I guess, at the end of the day. So I told them that was incorrect and I'd like to pay more taxes. Why did I do that? Because that's what you do if you want to be an honest person. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to do it yourself. And first you need to go to my.gov.au. We're doing Australian taxes here. And if you haven't linked your ATO service to your account, you go into services. And in services, you link the Australian tax office. So when you log in to the Australian tax office, I'm gonna do it right now with you guys live, you will see, oh no, your tax return is due. And lucky for me, I've got the weekend to do it because officially it's meant to be the end of the month. I've got until the 2nd of November 2020, so I'm gonna be doing it right now. Now, one thing to know is before you file your tax, you need to know a bit about your bookkeeping. Now, if you don't know what bookkeeping is, all it is just a record of your income and your expenses, and keep as many receipts as you can, but you pretty much just have to keep a log of your payments and all the money that you receive, your income and your expenses. Once you know that, you know how much money you earn and how much your costs are, and then it's all about figuring out your costs to, basically I'll say right here is, when you buy something as a business expense, you have certain thresholds. Right now the threshold is huge, which means you can get an instant write-off for items that are below a certain figure. Before March, earlier in the year, it was around 30K, but now it's shot all the way up to like hundreds of K. So you can pretty much write off a lot of goods. There are different types of goods. For example, motor vehicles are classed differently, and goods that you use both personally and for business, you can also charge there, but you just need to keep a record or an estimate, a good estimate of how much you use personally and how much you use privately and how much you use for business, that kind of stuff. And you pretty much just have those logs down. I'll tell you what, maybe I should do an episode all about bookkeeping and how to manage your income and expenses, but pretty much know what your income is for the year and know what your expenses that you're going to be claiming for the year, because you're going to need those figures for completing this form. So the first thing I'm seeing right here is check your content details below. 4 steps. The first step is just check your address. So I've got my address, it is done. Next, I'm happy. I've completed 1 out of the 4 steps. You know, you thought it was gonna be hard, but it's actually easy. Next, I'm gonna do, are your financial institution details up to date? All that means is if you're gonna be getting a refund, sometimes people overpay and they get a refund at the end of the year. They wanna know the bank account that they're gonna pay you money. Potentially, you can get a refund. Amazing. So next, 2 out of 4 steps is done. Go grab a cup of coffee, a tea, relax, you're almost there. I know a fella, he told me he once never completed his taxes in over 14 years. And I was like, I need to do this guide for people like this, because you can do it yourself if for some reason you can't get an accountant. So now it's personalize your return. Were you an Australian resident for tax purposes during the year? I was. Did you have a spouse? I did. If you didn't, you say no, that kind of stuff. In case you don't know, ATO, they got a nice app. I used it once to calculate my car log. I just jotted in all the journeys I took and it gave me the business use percentage from it. So it's a cool app, check it out if you haven't. Now, firstly, based on the pre-filled information, they got selections for you and you got to decide what applies to you. So have you received a salary? In this case, I'm doing it for sole traders, so I haven't received a salary because I'm trading for myself, my own business. Have I had an income annuation? No. Have you had any Australian interest? I actually am in debt. You know, when you own stuff, everything's in debt. So I haven't made any interest, and the interest rate is really low. You don't want to go there. So I haven't got any interest this year. But where I have got is, like, I was a sole trader and I'm a business sole trader, income and loss. And I've got business income and loss, not personal services income. There is two types of income. There's personal services where you're kind of like a full-time contractor doing personal services. You can find out what you are by using the personal services income decision tool. But basically a genuine contractor is someone that contracts for different businesses, like 1 month here, 1 month there, 1 month there. Whereas if you're full-time contracting for one business for the whole year, the government classifies that usually as personal services income. And you get different expenses that you can claim. You're not really a full-on business, but the tax levels are exactly the same. It's just more about the expenses. They're classified slightly different. So find out if you are a personal income, personal services income, or business income. For me, I'm a business income. I don't have a partnership, trust, all that kind of stuff. Had foreign income. Now this one is if you've had a foreign pension, you had employment, foreign entities. I haven't had foreign income. All I've had is business income and loss. If you run a company off-site, that kind of stuff in another country, this is where you could declare it. But for these kind of cases, I recommend just go to an accountant. They know their stuff. Don't rely on some random dude on YouTube. What are you doing? Don't do that. Follow along. So I'm gonna hit next. I'm happy with my claim that I'm a business income or loss. And I'm on stage 4. I'm on stage 4 of this game. I'm almost done. I can see the finish line. I'm like Usain Bolt. I'm like this, almost there. Grab yourself another bite to eat and some tea, and let's do stage 4. So business, sole trader, partnerships, and trust income. Add it. That's what we're gonna do. Did you receive any personal services income? If you were decided that you received it, you say yes. I haven't, so I'm gonna say no. Now, what is your business activity? The options that you get from here, they're pretty generic. I'm going to say app development, software development, software publishing, not development, developer. I guess for me, most of my services I did this year were advertising related. I know I make apps as well, but the advertising kind of like apps, that's my main business activity. I guess I'm publishing this on YouTube, advertising service. Number of business activities, I'll say 1, and I'm continuing the business. My main business name is that, and ABN. If you forget your ABN like I always do, you just go to Google, type Abn Lookup, and there's an Abn Lookup tool. Main business address, type that in. Did you sell any goods or services using the internet? So I'm an internet company, so yes, the answer is for that, and I'll hit save. Next up, this one is new, pre-filled info only data. So PayPal have said I've received a certain amount of money via PayPal, and it's just saying review these business transactions that you received and make sure if they are related to the business that you're carrying out, make sure you declare them. So they know I got this much from PayPal, and if you've been doing your bookkeeping right, it should line up with the figures. But don't worry if you've been overpaid, because you only apportion the portion which is related to your business to your accounts. So you might have got some extra stuff here and there, gifts, all that kind of stuff. PayPal is just going to rat you out to the government, and it's up to you to tell the government how much you have actually been paid for the actual business. So business income statements and payment summaries. This is the personal services income that you've gotten. For me, I'm not personal services, so I'm skipping this one out. Business income or losses. That is my section. So you get net primary production, you get net non-primary production, and then you get other business and professional items. Me, I am just purely a non-primary production. Primary production is things like farming, that kind of related stuff. Primary producer is an individual operating in a primary production business. They undertake plant or animal cultivation, fishing, pearling, tree farming, felling, that kind of stuff. So find out if you're a primary or non-primary. I'm non-primary, I'm not that important. So this is where I'm going to put my figures. So here, accessible government industry payments, nothing. Other business income, this is where you're going to put how much money you've made this year. So I'm going to launch my Excel spreadsheet, and I can see that my total income is that figure right there. So I'll copy that and paste it in there. Next up, non-primary production. So I don't have any of that kind of stuff. Expenses, superannuation, I don't have that kind of stuff. You might have it, check it out, investigate it, find out if it's related to you. Lease expenses, rent expenses, very, very important. For me, that stuff is not me. But what I do have as expenses is all other expenses, manually calculated. And these are all my expenses for the year. So again, my figure, I'll get that from my Excel spreadsheet. See, that's low. I should have spent more money this year. I'm going to be paying tax. It's going to be cool. Everything else, non-primary production. 0, 0, 0. Non-commercial business losses from the prior year, 0, that's for me. And then that's the summary portion right here. It tells you that the total non-primary production net income, net means the total minus the expenses, the income minus the expenses. It's kind of like profit. So that's your profit. And then it's going to tell you how much did you get it from investing. I didn't get anything from investing. How much did you get it from rental property? I didn't get anything from rental. How much did you get it from actual business? And everything that I got from there is purely from the business. And that figure should, when you add them together, should total to the figure at the top there. I hit save. And there you go. Save and continue. Almost there. Now, if you have a partner, you need to complete the details for your spouse. So you go in there, you need to know how much super they paid, how much money they've also made that tax year. So you kind of have to do your accounts at the same time, or you can estimate it. If you're gonna estimate it, go to an accountant. They'll estimate it better for you. And also go to an accountant because they can file your taxes at the end, like right at the end, like April next year. I'm filing it early. That means I'll have to pay my taxes early. Go with an accountant, you'll pay it as late as possible, or earlier if you need a refund. So that's it, save and continue. Almost there, right to the end. I can feel the finish line going through. It kind of like deceived you a bit, 1, 2, 3, very easy. Section 4 is where it got a bit hard, but nonetheless, we are almost there. Next up, offset, small business income tax offset. Businesses, small ones, they can get an extra tax credits. So make sure you complete that section. And here, this is where you put in your profit. But there's also a small business income tax offset calculator you can use. Type the figures in again and it'll tell you the same figure for you, or you might have something slightly differently. Partnership, 0. Trust, 0. Save and continue. Income tests, this is if you have children. If you do not update this section, you're confirming the value shown is correct. Medicare and private health insurance. Now, if you have private healthcare, you actually get a slight rebate for the amount of money you put into healthcare because you get taxed if you reach a certain threshold of income. For me, it should already have my details, but if your situation hasn't changed, will you pre-fill the claim code C for each of your policies? I'm gonna just hit add edit to make sure that it has the right details, and it looks like the details match up with the statement. Do you wanna claim your spouse's share? I guess this will happen if your spouse earns more or less than you. Speak to someone who knows better, or if you know the answer, should I be claiming my spouse's share? Let me know why I'll be doing that. For now, I just always hit no because I like keeping things a bit separate. And finally, you say, how did you complete this tax return? I prepared it myself. And will you need to lodge a tax return in future years? Yes. Calculate your tax. That's how much you find out how much you owe the government, and boom, right there it says it. That's how much I owe. That's how much I need to pay the government this year. That's a lot of money. But it is what it is, and that's how you do your taxes. Before you do that, you just have to lodge it. After ticking the declaration, before hitting lodge, I'm just gonna look it through one more time. But that is it. You pretty much just put in your income, you put in your expenses, and you just put those net profit in a few times. Put in your spouse's figures in there, put in your Medicare figures in there, tell them how many children you got, and you're pretty much done for the year. Hope you guys found this amazing. Do not follow guide on how to file your taxes. Make sure just go to a tax accountant. I'm not a tax accountant. This is just a walkthrough to get you a bit more confident in the process that tax accountants use. And if you want to do it yourself, let me know how it goes. Hope you found this video useful and enjoyed the show. Or enjoyed paying your taxes at least. I'm gonna enjoy it. The great thing about Australia is when you do pay your taxes, they give you a nice breakdown on where the money has gone to, all the kind of different areas. Looking forward to that.